Okie doke. All right, we're going to start seated, but we won't be seated very long. We're going to get moving straight away. So you might want to take a little wriggle around through your legs and a little movement through the shoulders just before you come to seated. We're not going to stay static for too long. We're going to mobilize quite quickly. So we will do a little more breath at the end of the class today. And I think it's really important that we just start to move. So from your seated position, and feel free to sit on a little block if you want to, or a cushion just to elevate your pelvis. Just relax with your hands softly resting on your knee, and just take a little soft sway side to side. As you're doing that, pull your pelvic floor up, a little bracing through the belly, and just start to really soften through the shoulders, soften through the head. So you have a really stable lower body in this softness. And then start to imagine your belly button is the very center of your body, and you're just going to do little circles. Tiny circles one way. Keep the shoulders really soft. And then tiny circles the other way. So let's try and really isolate this part of the body. So imagine from your chest up, you're staying really stable. And from the hips down, or the pelvis down, and try and just isolate this midsection of the waist to start with. So make it super tiny, really tiny. It might just be a matter of a slight shift to the side, to the back, to the side, to the front. So it's really isolating from the thoracic spine down. And then start to make that circle a little bigger and involve your shoulders all the way around. And then you might start to increase it quite dramatically. So you're sweeping forward all the way. And then begin to reverse that again. Reverse the other way. Big sweeping circles. Lovely, nice sweeping circles, and start to slow that down. Soft, and then tiny, tiny circles. Those soft shoulders, still shoulders. And then relax in stillness. Close your eyes. Take 3 long, deep breaths in. On the out breath, through an open mouth, drop the shoulders. You might still imagine or feel a little bit of movement in your body. Deep breath in. Breathing out through an open mouth. Nice work. And then relax. And take your legs in front, give them a little shake. And take the soles of the feet together, holding onto your toes. Shift the hips back. And on a huge in-breath, rise up. And on the exhale, soften and melt down. We'll stay here for a few moments, and you don't have to be still here. You might take a little movement side to side. You might wave up and down. So we're really cultivating this sense of fluidity and this flowing motion in our body. And then just soften into stillness. Let your legs and hips go. Relax your shoulders, relax your face. Relax the head now. Two more breaths here. Deep breath in. Lovely long breath out. Maybe you can relax a little more. You'll feel this pull through the glutes, the IT band, around the hip area. Then slowly come back up. Excellent. Stay in that position and just take your hands behind you. The fingers are pointing towards your body. Take the feet slightly wider, pressing into your fingers, and just take a little dip to one side and a dip to the other side. And keep repeating that, a little dip to one side and then up and over. Now, depending how you feel today, you can explore a little more range. You can come over, flip your hands and take a little dip, big sweep up and over and take a little chest press. We'll be using this sort of twist in our yin. So we just want to start warming up through the spine. And if you're feeling really dynamic today, try lifting the leg up and then pushing back up and over. You might even let both legs float up. Both legs float up. So you become like a little bug, a little bug that's starting to really create warmth, a little bit of mobility in the whole body. There's no right or wrong here. One more. Lovely. Nice. And then come back into your seated position. Turn your wrists again, so fingers are pointing towards your body. Take a deep breath in, press strongly into the feet and just hover through the hips. Maybe you can lift up into a reverse table. Really squeezing through the bottom, imagining that somebody's having a little tea party with a tea tray on your belly. And that'd be quite, I'll stop that image right there. Lower back down and slide the hips back. Fingers out to the side. We come into a forward fold. Inhale, reaching up. You can keep the legs bent if you like. Exhale, fold. Creeping forward with the fingers and melting. Stay here and round through the spine. Now, if you are really tight in the hamstrings, which many of us are, keep the legs bent. So you still get to feel this softness through the spine and the shoulders. Maybe in time you will walk out a little more. And we're going to just incorporate those two things together once more. So fingers slide back. Take the feet to the floor. Press strongly into the finger pads so you have a lot of support through the shoulders and the arms. Deep breath in and let the hips hover all the way up. This should feel really lovely across the chest, through the pectoral muscles, through the shoulders, pressing into your toes. It's a great way of identifying that upper body strength. And then slowly take the hips down. Fingers out to the side, lift the hips, scoot them back. Walk the feet, inhale, exhale. Softening completely. Staying here and melting. Sliding the hands back. We come into a little twist, a seated twist before we stand. So take your right leg up, pop it over your left. You can either keep your left leg long or you can tuck it under, whatever feels good for you. Left arm comes around and wraps that knee. Begin to softly rotate through the body and reach up and behind. And stay here for a few moments. Really begin to identify where you're feeling this. Quite common for you to hear a little crack in your spine. And if you haven't been twisting much or you have a back issue, stay with this. If you like a deep stretch through the spine, slide the arm in, press the elbow against the knee, lift and then rotate. Stay here and breathe into that. This is such a beautiful twist, such a lovely gift for the body. and something we should do so frequently. A lovely way of unlocking stress and tension through the spine, through all of the spine, the length of the spine. Keep turning your eye gaze. Some lovely fluffy blue clouds outside today. And release, come back to center. Fingers to the side like little praying mantis fingers. Take your legs in front, give them a little shake. Shake, 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 and then take your legs long. This time your left leg comes in and up. Take it across your right. And again, you can either keep the other leg long or sweep it under. As long as you're sitting evenly on both hips. Lifting up through the spine, hug that knee. Inhale, find length and rotate. Looking over that back shoulder. And just stay here for a few moments while your body adapts to this lovely twist. It is quite intense. And then your option, if you want more, is to tuck that knee in. Lift through the spine, rotate, look. And feel free to apply even pressure. Elbow pushes against your leg pushes back. Keep turning your head. And then slowly release. My gaze back. Fingers out to the floor again, little praying mantis fingers. Give a little shake or a cycle. You might cycle on one hip and over to the other. Warming up through our midline, through our core. If it's too much, keep your feet down. Trying to create a bit of effort. A little bit of blood flow here. Grateful core. And then cross the legs and roll over. Onto your fours, horse stance. Just a quick cat and cow. So rounding your spine, pulling the belly in. And then releasing eye gaze up. Really dropping through the waist, lifting the eye gaze. Always bending deeply through the elbows. And connecting with your breath. Inhale to rise. And exhale to return. 2 more, just moving and really enjoying this feeling through the spine. So there should be a lot of fluidity now through that spine after the twists. Okay, lovely. So come back into your neutral horse stance. Take your right foot back, toes under. Press into the toes. Push the heel right back. Lots of length there. You can even hover your other leg up if you want to. If you've been running or walking a lot, be gentle here because the calf soleus is probably quite tight. And then take that right foot forward to the outside of the right hand. Turn the foot so that the toes point out to the side. Right hand to your knee. And again, coming into a soft twist, looking back up to the ceiling. Begin to press the leg away. And something different. Turn the toes forward. Take this right hand and see if you can thread it under, right under. And maybe take both forearms down to the mat. Maybe that's too much, but try a little bit of movement here. Good. Maybe you can even reach right out. Ooh, feel that as you drop into that side of the body. Just have a little play. And then climb out with that hand. Take the leg back and we'll try the other side. So left foot back, toes under, pushing into the heel. Maybe hovering the other leg. I woke up very excited today because I get to go out to drive my car. It's not very often that I drive my car these days. I walk to the supermarket, walk everywhere. I'm going to Eastbourne to look at a flat, actually. It's like a bit of an adventure, isn't it? Who knew driving your car could be so much fun? Lift and hover, a few more breaths. And then release and take that left leg to the outside of your left hand. Turn the toes out. Drop through the hips and take your hand to the knee and start to spiral over that shoulder. So just observing what's happening as you spiral to this right hip. Taking a few breaths. And then release. Just keep the leg there, but turn the toes so they come forwards. And with the left arm, drop right down through that shoulder. And see if you can slide the arm to the outside of that leg. Maybe you can take the forearms down. Maybe it's just not possible, and that's okay. Maybe you like to reach out to the side. You really feel that through the adductor, the inside of that left leg, and possibly the hips, the right hip. Just play around with that. How does it feel? You might even straighten the leg a little. A couple of long breaths. And then slowly walk on out. And come center, come back, knees together. Tuck your toes under into a toe squat. Just shake the arms out. Now, at the risk of your toes snapping off, let's just take a little bit of a pause here. Relax through the shoulders. Take your arms behind you. Hold on to each elbow or each forearm. And relax through your head. We're going to stay here for a few moments and just stretch to the neck. So eye gaze is forward. Drop the rib cage and take the right ear to the right shoulder. Keep pulling your arms down. If your toes are really in agony, come up and stay kneeling or flatten your toes. And bring the head up and come to the other side. So a really deep stretch through the side of the neck. And when let's stretch out those toes, it is painful, but it's a really useful pain if there ever is such a thing. Eye gaze forward, come up and shake the toes out. So compressing the joints in that way is actually good, especially if you have the early signs of any arthritis or osteoarthritis, unless it's a contraindication. It can increase the flow of synovial fluid and increase the general mobility. So it is painful, yes, but if you don't mobilize the joints, they will literally stay frozen and continue to freeze. So within reason, work through that pain. Come down onto all fours. Take a little rotation, a little circle one way, and then the other. Repeat that circle one way, maybe sweeping all the way back. And then the other. all I can think about now is a nice cup of tea, nice cup of green tea after this class, and a piece of Jill's treacle tart. We all want treacle tart. All right, just come down onto your belly, knees down, relax here, and into a Sphinx pose. Forearms on the mat, elbows under shoulders. Give a little shake through the body, and then just allow the eye gaze to settle on the horizon or looking forward. Really dropping through the shoulders. Begin to soften your breath. Notice the in-breath. Notice the out-breath. There should be no pressure on elbows, no compromised shoulder joints. The only place you should feel this is in your spine, in the lumbar. Breathing in deeply and breathing out fully. If you want a little more, feel free, of course, to lift through the elbows. And to make this pose really effective, try and soften your bottoms, try and soften the glutes, soften the legs. One of the reasons we often develop back pain is because we squeeze our glutes anytime we feel there is a back extension about to happen. Just observe yourself. Maybe it's in the shower or standing in the kitchen boiling a kettle. Are you squeezing your glutes to help keep you upright, to help keep you standing? That can be really destructive in one way because you're taking the natural effort out of the spine. On the other hand, many of us have lazy glutes, which we don't activate when we need them to, so from walking or running, and that can also present issues. But for now, really soften, no effort below the hips at all. And as we head into the Yin, we're not quite there yet, I'm going to do a little flow. If we were in Yin, we'd hold this for a good 3 to 5 minutes. But for now, we will soften and counterpose with a child's pose. So it's normal for the back to feel a little achy now. Take hands under your chest. Keep your knees wide, toes together as you come up into wide knee child's pose. And just ease off now. Really push the hips back, forward to the mat. This should feel lovely, really nice. Well, Jill, do you know what? I just thought I'm coming over to Eastbourne to look at a flat. I'll have to get your address and I can dash by for treacle tart. Jill says yes. Everyone's jealous now. All right, come back up onto all fours. And let's come into down facing dog. Tuck your toes under. Really pull the belly in as though you have a harness here. Spread the fingers, knees hover, and make your way to down facing dog. Take a few breaths here, shake the head. If you want to, walk through your dog. We're going to stay here for a few moments and just explore this perfect pose, this beautiful equal distribution of strength and stretch. If ever you need to, drop to your knees and come back up. We're going to really make a lovely down dog in a minute. Come to your knees, everyone. Relax the toes. Walk the hands forward. Keep the hips stacked under the hips. And just the knees stacked under the hips. Drop your forehead. Drop your chin.
Stay in this melting heart or puppy pose for a few moments. You can check your forehead to the mat if you prefer. Feel that lovely stretch through the underarms. And then lift up. Move your body forward. Take hands under shoulders and come into a plank pose. So take a few moments just to find your body weight here. Spread the fingers and really press into the finger pads like you're trying to squeeze a sheet underneath your hands. From your plank pose, come into down dog with only a little movement through hands or feet. Might just be a slight inch, not too much. And really push your ribs towards your thighs. Take a few breaths, remain stable. Bend the knees and walk the feet into your hands. Tippy-toeing in, relaxing the head, maybe taking hold of each elbow and hanging. If you need to, keep your knees bent. Really anchoring yourself with a connection. All the toes are connected to the mat, the heels, the base of each foot. And fingers to the floor. Walk your feet slightly out to the width of the mat. Turn the toes out and drop into a small yogi squat. Now you might stay high. We're not here for very long. If you're comfortable here, elbows into knees. Focus on a really long back. So sometimes in yogi squat or Hindi squat, we're down here and that's fine, but we want to really increase this stability and strength through the spine so we can feel the stretch in the hips. If you're high, stay there. Hands down. Slowly lifting hips, turn heels out. Bend your knees a lot, eye gaze forward like you're about to play a leapfrog game. Palms together, press into the feet and rise all the way. So feet are slightly wider than normal. Arms behind, press the knuckles down. Relax through the shoulders, a little mobility here. Keep the feet slightly wide. Take a deep breath in. We're going to come to we do this quite a lot. Deep breath in, palms together, thumbs to forehead, melt super slowly, all the way down, and then let little finger trace on the floor. Straighten your legs and roll up, pulling in through the belly, really pulling in through that midline. Reach tall. Do it again. Exhale, bending, down, rolling up softly. Let's do it 3 times more and really enjoy this amazing flow through the spine. So as you come up, it's like you're dripping through your arms, reaching toward, connecting with your breath, exhaling. Nice. Let's try one more. Really beautiful, lovely, soft flow. And then the last time you rise, take your arms behind you, interlace fingers, press them down. Bend the knees a little and begin to fold forward. Let your arms go wherever they are able to. You can keep your knees bent, or if you want to, start to straighten. Such a lovely stretch, this one, if you have been sitting, working a lot, or cooking or baking, or not really opening through that shoulder girdle much. Breathing out, letting go. bend the knees, hands to the inside, step one foot back and then the other into a plank position. Hold your plank. Really super strong. And then pressing into finger pads, make your way to down dog. Move your feet just a little and hold this down dog. Really pushing the rib cage towards the thighs. So remember, one of our aims in yoga is to become so comfortable with our upper body strength that down dog feels lovely. It is such a lovely, lovely pose for the body. And it's a great indicator of our upper body strength and mobility. Slowly bend the knees, bring the knees to the mat. Relax through the toes, coming up into a little kneeling squat and just mobilize through those shoulders. Should feel quite nice and mobile. We're going to come into two lovely yin poses today. We'll see how we go for time. The first one is a beautiful lying twist. So we've done it before. You will need cushions or a bolster, and you start in this position. Now, if you have your cushions or your bolster, you can use whatever you need. I'll show you where we're going, and then you can decide how to support yourself. So you want this first leg to be sort of at a 90-degree angle. And the back leg can either be really quite close to that, or if you want more of a twist and more of a stretch through the hip, push this leg back a bit. I like to push it back, but it might be too much. The bolster or the cushions are right in next to the hip. And you're going to slowly turn your body. Turn your body, one hand either side, pull in, lift back, and then exhale as you lay down over that bolster. Or the cushions, of course, and you might use a block. You can really stack the cushions up as high as you want. If you've got 5 or 6 cushions, that's fine. A nice comfortable option here is to keep the chest, the face facing the same way as your knee. If you want more, lift up and turn so your head is the other way. This is a really powerful twist. Make sure you're comfortable. So we're going to hold it for 3.5 minutes. And you can really come deeper into that pose with your breath. So with each breath out, start to melt through those parts of your body that might be holding on. You can scan through your body and really notice what is happening here. Are you relaxed in your shoulders, your neck? Are you relaxed through the hips and the legs? Maybe with each breath out, you sink a little closer. It might be an option to go deeper, or to change the position of your head. It's great to practice a little bit of mindfulness while we're in our yin poses. So really paying attention. Really paying attention. Not letting the mind wander off. But notice every part of the experience. How does it feel in your spine? How does it feel in your joints, your ankles,
your shoulders. What emotions arise? Do you feel impatient, hesitant, wary? Is it natural and instinctive for you to pull back, to resist? Do you find your mind wandering? Are you just observing? Are you noticing each sensation as it arises? And with every 30 seconds that pass, there will be different sensations that start to emerge. A great way of staying present and mindful is to narrate the sensation. You might say in your inner dialogue, I feel a deep twist in my lumbar. I feel the heaviness in my left leg, the buzzing in my right leg. I feel my mind wandering. I bring it back to my breath. That sometimes works. Narrate the experience, create an inner dialogue. In essence, that is simply what mindful is, staying in the very moment that you're in. We're coming to the last few breaths. And then slowly, in any way that serves you best, make your way out of that. And before we come to the other side, we're just going to roll onto the back and come into constructive rest. So lying with feet to the width of the mat, knees falling in, arms wide. And now really be mindful of those feelings in your lower back, in your pelvis, in your hips. There will be a lot of sensations there, a lot of experiencing. Three more breaths before we come to the other side. When the spine has been in a twist or in a deep extension or flexion, it always feels magic to bring it back into its usual alignment. And then slowly, any way you want to, roll up. And we'll make our way to the other side. Any way you want to, set yourself up. Make sure that with this front leg, the knee is in front of the hip. And this back leg can either be, they can even be higher up if you want to. That'll give you more of a twist, sorry, less of a twist. Or you can take them out further and take this leg back a little more. Bring the bolster or cushion right into your hip and then slowly, very slowly start to turn, rotate. You want to get your belly button down on the cushions. Forearms either side. You can adjust your hip if you need to. Maybe lifting up, just exploring the pose on this side. Head whichever way you want to. Try both.
And know that if you want to create a deeper twist, just come back up to your seated position and spiral again. We'll start our 3.5 minutes. We actually did 4 minutes on the other side. So we'll do 4 minutes on this side. And again, starting to just sit with the sensations of the early stage. As you travel deeper into this pose, be mindful of the little changes, the subtle changes. Sometimes we look only to the big sensations, the overriding sensations. What happens if you look beyond them? Can you visualize the front of your spine? Visualize the shape of your hips and pelvis. Let go of all of the muscle tension around the length of your spine. As you head into the last minute, come back to this feeling of being mindful of what's happening, so that the whole experience, the pose itself, becomes more than physical. It's also a mental holiday, a break from the whirring dialogue of your mind. Stay in the moment. Try narrating the sensations. Taking the last few breaths. And then really slowly, just coming onto your back, into your constructive rest position. Feet to the width of the mat. Knees fall in. Lift the hips and allow the spine to settle back down. Palms face up,
Let's take a few breaths here. Breathing in deeply and breathing out fully. Before we come to Shavasana, we'll just go through butterfly, but I'll give you a few variations. So I'll be coming up to seated butterfly, but if you want to, you can stay in lying butterfly. The soles of the feet are together and the knees fall wide. It's also a nice option if you're near a wall to come to a wall version of butterfly. Might not be appropriate now, but it can really unload the hips and allow a little more of a stretch, particularly if you gently guide the knees wider. So gravity will really help in this pose. That's a nice option as well. Or if you prefer traditional yin butterfly, soles of the feet together, and then stack up lots of cushions if you need them, or blocks. Shuffle the hips back. Take a deep breath in and begin to melt down. Now you want to let go of any tension through the shoulders here. So I like to use the cushions or the bolster or whatever, just to allow the upper body to relax completely. It's really about finding a position where you feel supported, but you feel that the legs in this butterfly position are falling into the ground. The hips are gently being prized open. And there's different ways. If one way doesn't suit you, try a different option. It might be lying, it might be against a wall. Let's try 4 minutes here. So beginning to travel through the first stage of Yin, which is acknowledgement. Which parts of your body are under stress, a pleasant stress? So anatomically, this pose is so good for the hip structure itself, the adductors, the IT band, the glutes, and the spine. Energetically, this pose is great for liver, kidney, and bladder meridians. Just allow gravity and the weight of your body to feel a deeper stretch through those hips. As we head towards the end of winter, this is a really nice pose to include in your home practice, as it stimulates kidneys, ovaries, adrenal and prostate glands. Because of the deep stretch of the spine, it affects the urinary bladder as well. So that's a nice part of our detoxification, cleansing, preparing for spring. Being observant now of any differences in hips, legs, and using the breath to travel deeper. Got one more minute here. Sandy's dog's joining in the yin part. He seems to be quite relaxed. It's a she, I think. Last few breaths here, just melt. And then really slowly make your way out of that pose. And come onto your back. If you have a bolster handy, you might keep it under your legs as we enjoy a Shavasana. First, just take the feet to the floor, palms facing up. Take a breath in as you lift up into a bridge. And then one vertebra at a time, relax through the spine, really slowly and softly. So that you're creating more space through that lumbar. And let the hips settle, let that lumbar curve return. If you're using a bolster or cushions under your legs, let the legs feel heavy. Shoulders, arms, relax. Start to relax the muscles in your face. Begin to settle into stillness for 3 or 4 minutes. Grab anything warm you need. It's chilly for sure today. We've done a lot of work through the spine today. A beautiful series of twists, some extensions, flexion. The spine should be feeling good. So just keep your awareness on the length of your spine now. Notice the softness of those muscles around each vertebra. And imagine your in-breath, imagine each deep breath traveling down the length of your spine, flooding the spine with a nourishment, a feeling of space, a breath of freedom, mobility, fluidity. Let the rest of your body feel heavy, arms, legs. Relax your jaw. Relax your forehead, your cheeks. Let your fingers and toes feel heavy. Stay in this moment completely. Breathing in deeply and breathing out fully. And as your body begins to feel heavy and relaxed, breathe in a sense of inner calm and well-being, like lighting a little flame, a little inner smile. In these few moments, this little secluded bubble, you are at peace, feeling good, feeling calm. For these few moments, you feel safe, supported, at ease. Knowing you can return to this feeling, this space at any time, acknowledging your breath, finding stillness. Feel free to stay. If you'd like to linger, who can blame you? If you want to stay under your blanket, then by all means do. Otherwise, take a little movement. Make your way to seated in your own time. If you're staying there, calm, content, just relax. Give a silent internal namaste to you, to each other, to me. If you're joining me in seated, take a breath. Exhale. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me. It's so nice to see you on this frosty Wednesday. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. If you're getting out, then enjoy the cold weather. I can't tell you how excited I am about my my little excursion today.
Thanks, Debs.
Thank you, Anne. Lovely to see you.
It'd be good to have you in Eastbourne near us.
Have I what? Sorry?
It'd be good to have you in Eastbourne near us.
Yeah,
So let me know how you get on.
I'm thinking it might be Eastbourne. I'm uncertain. I'm just looking at all options, but I do like Eastbourne, and it's close to Battle. You know, it's the same as Bexhill, really, but I'm close to Battle.
Yeah.
Does this mean you can get a dog?
Oh, do you know what? I'm so desperate for a dog, and Jacob is sadly, I have to borrow. Sadly, my first property is going to be a flat, so no dogs.
Just a little sausage dog, you could do that.
I know. Do you know what? Jacob would absolutely love it. I grew up with dogs. I love dogs. So at one stage, I will have
Daisy, if you like.
Yes.
She didn't stay still the whole session because she was worried about Andy being on the floor.
I know. Her is it Daisy?
Yeah. Usually if I'm on the floor, it's because I've fallen over.
Oh, bless. That's like Ernie's dog. Ernie's dog, whenever Ernie's in Shavasana, this dog just stands over him and licks it. He's really worried. Oh, that's great. One day I'll have a dog. Have a lovely day, guys.
Same to you. Go well. Bye.
I shall see you. If you're joining me Friday, remember it's 8:45, slightly early.
Thanks very much.
Bye, Daddy dog.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye, Laura. See ya.